You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender on Ron Siegel Radio. Welcome back, Jay Burress.
How are you, sir?
Good. How are you? Does that bring back? You're old enough to remember that song.
Welcome back, Cotter.
Welcome back, Cotter. There's some folks that don't remember that. They're not old like us. It's fun when you start talking about that. Hey, let me remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating. We got a lot to celebrate today. I look at the celebrations on our list, and then I look at there's even some more that Jay brought in with him from Visit Anaheim. So we'll start Cinco de Mayo. You can't start the day without Cinco de Mayo. And I don't understand this, because how do you have National Hoagie Day on Cinco de Mayo? Wouldn't it be like Burrito Day or something like that? I just don't get this stuff. Who comes up with these things? National Astronaut Day? Well, if you have enough, well, I'm not going to go there. National Cartoonists Day. Silence the Shame. I don't know how I guess, does that mean I have to be silent? Silent radio? I've heard of silent TV, but not silent radio. Totally Chipotle Day. Are they talking? They're not talking about the restaurant chain, are they? I think that's a sauce of some sort. Okay. We'll just stick with those. Let's see what do we want to see what the markets are doing today? I'm not sure. Yesterday was a great day. I'm going to tell you why in the markets. Today, Dow Jones Industrial Average down 1,174 points. Yeah, that's painful. S&P 500 down 172. The NASDAQ down 681. Oil down 89 cents a barrel. Do we want to even look at what's going on with gas prices? I heard the gas prices are going to get even worse just because of one thing. We're out of diesel. Why would that bring gas? Why would that have an effect on gas prices? Well, the issue is if they're making diesel, they can't make gas. So they're having trouble. Maybe they need a little more. Maybe they need to lower Cinco de Mayo, get more gas. Oh, no, that's a different kind of gas. We're not going there. National average gallon of gasoline, $4.24 right here in California, $5.76 a gallon, $5.76. Josh, you got us beat by 60 cents, $5.10 over there in Nevada. Maybe I'll go to Hawaii. It's $5.27. I can get gas cheaper in Hawaii. Not fun, but let's take a look at why all these things are happening. What's driving the market to where it is? Regardless. Now here's the issue. And I shared this morning. Why did mortgage rates drop when the Federal Reserve increased their interest rates yesterday? Why would that happen? What's the cause of that? And the markets took about a 25 basis point change. Or I'm sorry, 100 basis point change. Changed 1% went right after Powell's conversation. Why would that happen? It was all to the better yesterday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average went from about flat to plus 900 and change after the Federal Reserve Chairman spoke. Why would that happen? Okay, I'm going to tell you why it happens, and I'm going to tell you why we are where we are today. What's going on driving the markets today? Well, the Federal Reserve Chairman came out and increased interest rates by 50 basis points. We knew he was going to do that. But then he said, well, we're going to increase interest rates the next two meetings. That would be in June and July. He didn't mention what he's going to do in September. They're not meeting in August. They're taking the month off. Maybe they'll go traveling. I don't know what they're doing. But then they're going to also start letting their balance sheet run off. What the heck does that mean? Well, the Federal Reserve creates money. They just print it out of thin air. I wish I could do that. But they took their balance sheet from $4 trillion to $9 trillion. A lot of money, right? We can't even fathom that kind of money. Now, what is the big enemy of the bond market? Well, it's inflation. And contrary to what the chairman told us last year, inflation is not transitory. Once you start getting a job, once you get an increase in wages, you're not going back down. Once McDonald's increases the price of a hamburger, they're not going to drop it. Once, all these things that are going on, prices go up, it's hard for them to come back down, especially when there's still too much money chasing too few goods. That's what inflation is. So the bond market hates inflation because bonds are a fixed return, right? So you get a 2-year treasury, a 3-year treasury, or you get a 2% yield or 3%. It's fixed. So if you've got inflation, you're losing money. You get a 3% bond and 8 or 9% inflation, your money's actually going backwards. It's worth less. Okay, so the bond market hates inflation. Well, the chairman came out and said that they're going to be reducing their balance sheet by $37.5 billion. Half's important here when you're talking about billions. $37.5 billion a month starting June 1st. Okay, so they're going to drop $20 billion in mortgage, in bonds, in treasuries, and $17.5 billion in mortgage-backed securities. That's not going to be friendly for the bond market. And they're going to double that starting in September. So June, July, and August, $37.5 billion. And starting in September, they're going to be at $75 billion. Sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but when you compare it to $9 trillion, over a year, that's going to be about $500 billion. So they're only reducing their balance sheet over the course of a year, if they stay on course, by less than 10% of their balance sheet. Okay, now we understand that part of it. So why did the mortgage rates drop when the chairman did all these things? Well, the bond market believed, at least temporarily, that the Federal Reserve was going to get inflation under control. Will they do that? I don't know. Now, what did we see after that? And then the chairman said, we're not going to have a recession. We don't think we're going to have a recession. We believe that we can create a soft landing. That's Fed speak for they can do things right. When was the last time the Federal Reserve did anything right? Right? If they would have done this right, they would have been increasing interest rates a year ago, so we wouldn't have had this inflation problem that they helped create. So we move on. So what is the hard landing? Well, hard landing is Fed speak because they don't like to use the word recession, right? That's a hard landing. That's what we're headed for. How do I know that? Well, take a look yesterday. ADP came out with their jobs report, and we had about 270,000 jobs created. But here's the issue. Small business was negative 120,000. Yes, small business not only did they not add jobs, they got rid of jobs. Big business added jobs. What does that mean? Well, the small businesses can't afford it. They can't handle the wage inflation. They can't handle the gas prices. They can't handle the cost of food. They can't handle all of these other expenses. Big business can absorb that. Okay, so now where do we go from there with that happening? Well, this morning, we actually saw a miss on the first time unemployment numbers. So we had more unemployed than we were expecting. Now, you remember I told you one of the signs almost every time, historically every time, but we don't know, we can't guarantee the future. Historically, when we get to a bottom of the unemployment, which last month we were at 3.6. Tomorrow we're going to get a new number. It's expected to be at 3.5. We'll see. But when you get to the bottom of unemployment and it turns upward, that has a 100% predictability rate of a recession. As soon as unemployment starts ticking upward, we see the recession. So when we saw the first-time unemployed go up today, and we saw the other numbers that came out yesterday where we lost jobs in the private sector, that's telling us where we're at. Just throwing that out there for you. That's why interest rates dropped yesterday based on the Fed's commentary. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, National Travel and Tourism Week. We're going to talk about it. Local data about travel. 3 tips for first-time home buyers, and I'm going to try. I don't do this very well, but I'm going to try and give you Your Credit Matters segment. I might have to do that recorded off air because we don't always get to these things. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Now, let's see what the markets are doing. The S&P 500 now down 163 points. 10-year Treasury, wow, up 17 basis points on the yield, 3.088. Massive jump on the 10-year Treasury. Just remember, we were around 1.5 not that long ago. Mortgage-backed securities, the bond dropped 70 basis points. That's massive as well. Almost offsets what we did yesterday. Right? Why is all this happening? Well, let's take a look because we did get this morning. I have to give you this number. The Freddie Mac came out with their mortgage market number, their mortgage market survey, and they told you that interest rates 5.27% this week. Last year, same week, 2.96. 2.96. But if you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio on a regular basis, you know that even though Freddie Mac said it, well, maybe it's not quite what's going on in the world right now. Because yesterday, MMI provides the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Loans actually locked yesterday at 5.525. That's where the loans locked, 5.525. And if you remember, I told you, January 3rd, they locked at 3.409. So up over almost 2.125 since January 3rd. That's what's really happening. And I will give you a real quick why, because we talked a lot about this in the opening block, but I'll give you just the statistics here. So we've got initial jobless claims. Kate was reported at 200,000 claims last week. They expected 182,000. Okay, so they missed a bit. Continuing claims decreased by 19,000 to 1.384 million claims, which was fewer than 1.4 million estimated. Fourth consecutive week of declining continuing claims. Fourth week in a row of that one. And that's about all the news that we have. Tomorrow, the big Bureau of Labor Statistics jobs report comes out. That's the Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. Jay Burress is with us. Visit Anaheim. Welcome.
Good to see you again.
Glad to have you with us. So National Travel and Tourism Week. Isn't that every week at Visit Anaheim?
It is pretty much. We're definitely a city built on tourism, but it's nationally recognized this week. And now more than ever, and this year, we've seen the impact over the last couple of years with the loss of tourism, how it affects the economy.
So when you look at tourism, do you gauge most in a lot of areas that I look at in economics, we gauge things year over year until now, right? So now we gauge things year over 2019 because that was when life was really normal. Are you doing the same thing?
We do the same. And 2019 was really a banner year. It was the best on record for us. So we go back to that because when you look at our numbers compared to last year, we're 30% up over last year. Well, last year was awful.
Right.
So
you don't want to say, you don't want to compare that, right?
Yeah.
Compared to awfulness.
So it's coming back. The market's definitely coming back. When you look at it, it's still probably only 79% of where it was back in 2019. So you're seeing good numbers. Occupancy is slightly less than it was that year. Rates are higher though. So there's something called revenge travel that's going on of people.
Revenge travel.
It's pent
I've heard of revenge everything, but not travel.
It's pent up demand for travel. It's pent up money for travel. And so people are not afraid to pay higher rates in hotels, spend more money on the restaurants. And revenge travel is a beautiful thing right now, but it can't last forever. So we'll stabilize that and really we'll see where the market goes from there. But travel right now is in a good place. The group market is not quite back yet, but we're getting there. Conventions are coming back. We've had a full convention center for a couple of months now, but we're getting there.
So if you've had a full convention center and you said that the travel's at 79%, so where are they going to go when they fill that other? What is a 95? Is that really what you figure is full capacity?
We're running 90 plus in 2019, and so it's really a mix. So if you got the leisure business, you've got the group business and the conventions, you've got the business travel, you've got the amateur sports travel, you've got all those things combined. And you really need a mix of it. So if any one dips, you can still stabilize. With the pandemic, we lost everything.
Sure. You mean we didn't have the last one that I went over there. My son works at Disneyland, so I get to hear from him a lot of things. The last one I saw was cheerleaders conference.
That's big business. Cheerleaders, they say the sports market, which cheering is part of that. As the father of a cheerleader, I know, but that is, they say it's recession proof because you may give up all other travel and vacations, but if your little girl wants to go to an event, you're going to make sure that happens. So.
And are they using the convention center, or are they mostly the hotels, or is it a combination?
Both. It's a combination, but the convention center is such a large space. It's the largest on the West Coast. So, and a lot of these events require a lot of space, not a lot of setup, but a lot of space for these teams to get out there and practice, as well as to engage in the competition. Right now, I'm going to a lot of cheer stunt competitions with my daughter.
Stunt.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sport. As well.
Explain that to me. I don't even know. I'm ignorant. I got 3 boys.
It's all the flyers. It's all the lifting.
Oh wow, okay.
All the different. It's all girls, and it's really a cool event that I knew nothing about, and it's like a game. You play against another team, and you each get points, and then you have an ultimate winner. So it's very interesting.
Sounds like fun.
We'll try it sometime.
Yeah, my only opportunity now is granddaughters because I'm done with my own. So, but something, you're right though. No matter what, I mean, I went through all the sports with my boys, right? So we started out soccer. I know nothing about soccer, other than what was the one time I got in trouble with a referee, but that's a different story. It looked like they're getting hurt. I mean, what do I know about that stuff? But football and basketball and baseball. And you're right, you travel with the kids and you go as a pack. I couldn't afford girls, but I mean, it would be different fields, I guess, then.
It is. And I've been through a swimmer, I've been through a basketball player, and now I've got a cheer competition.
So you get to know all of them.
So, yes. So this has been the most fun, the most travel, and also the most expensive. But it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess, because I guess, with the guys, you put on a pair of basketball shorts and a T-shirt and you're done.
But cheer is a great event, but Anaheim's great for that because the kids want to be here and come to a competition. So it really is big business for Anaheim.
And it doesn't hurt that across the street from the convention center, there's a little park they might want to go to.
They might have heard of that one. They definitely want to be here. And the weather helps so they can be outside. They can go to the theme park. It's just a perfect destination for that entire amateur sports market.
But something, I think that you've got a big benefit, Jay, because, I used to do a lot of travel with trade shows, and every place that I went had a negative based on the weather. I was in Chicago and I'd be there in January and it's a blizzard and 70 degrees below zero. And I'd come back here and put my shorts back on. Right? Or I'd be there in the summer and it was 100 degrees and it was raining. Here you've got it where the weather's just great. I mean, you almost don't need a weather channel.
Well, that's definitely a benefit. We'll see, January is usually one of our busiest convention months
Sure.
because everywhere else in the country has issues. So you'll see people just outside, just with their face and hands up, just worshiping the weather because
Sure.
it's like, it's perfect temperature, perfect situation. And they're coming from the Midwest or from Northeast, and they're like, they love coming here.
And they're laughing at us natives who have a jacket on when it's 60
Yeah,
degrees
exactly.
and they came here from 30
Short-
degrees or 30 degrees below.
Shorts and a sweatshirt is definitely a uniform. out
Yeah,
there.
exactly. So are the bigger conventions coming back, or are they still waiting because they don't know, do we have a mask mandate? Do we not have a mask mandate? Can we gather in big groups? Can we not get? Are they willing to invest in the events? Because they have to plan these things a long time in advance, right?
They do. We started in March having conventions come back in. In fact, in March, we had the largest B2B convention in the country post-COVID, and that was 58,000 people. But that convention was normally 85,000 people. So the numbers are off. Attendance is down because a lot of it is that confusion as to what's allowed. What can I do? What can I not do? Are there restrictions? Is there testing? Is there vax requirement? All those questions are out there in the marketplace. So we're seeing it come back. We've got the full calendar through the summer and into the fall, but it's lower attendance. So we may have to put more conventions in the building with fewer people just to have the same impact that we had before.
Are you having to modify the facilities for technology? Because I know a lot of the conventions that I deal with, they're or even I'm doing an event this afternoon, and we've got 90% of the people are going to be live, but there is that group of people that wants to just stream it. Do you find that as well?
Absolutely. The hybrid event is a new term for all of us.
Okay, see, I didn't even know that name. Okay, hybrid
They have
event.
the virtual event, but also they'll have the live event. So it's people that are not ready to travel or cannot travel that can still experience the education they get or some of the networking that they have. Very few are doing it simultaneously. They're doing it the week after or the week prior.
Oh, okay.
But in some groups have found out that having these virtual experiences can actually help their attendance in the next year. So it's really a marketing move to get people to come in person in the future years. But seeing a lot of virtual events or hybrid events right now, and I think it's starting to trail off a little bit because now more than ever, people see the value in face-to-face. They want to touch, feel the product. They want to network with their colleagues, and that is more important than ever now.
Well, I noticed, and that's why I was kind of, when you talk about occupancy, I would have thought that it would have been up, just because so many events that I've gone to post-COVID, if we want to say that we're post-COVID, I don't, I'm not a doctor, I don't know, but they've had exceptional attendance because of people being locked up for so long. So you would think that the events that as you start bringing them back online at the convention center and the hotels, they would just be overwhelmed.
Well, on weekends, they do very, very well. And
Okay.
they're still doing well in the 70s and 80% occupancy, but their rates have gone up. But you've also got the COVID and people coming out of the pandemic, as well as, everyone's adjusted a little bit. Disneyland now has the reservation system that I believe is here to stay. And that has helped us in some ways when we thought it was actually going to hurt us. People are coming in maybe a day early or staying a day late to get the most out of their reservation. So it's really been fluid, and everybody's making changes, and hotels have changed a little bit, convention centers changed a little bit, and we're all adjusting to that.
So you say that rates are up. Are rates up as a total package for the entire community, or are rates up on a specific hotel? And what I mean by that is, since COVID, you've got the two 5-star or 4-star hotels that are there. So those will obviously have a higher rate. But if I were to go to like the Hilton in Anaheim, and I don't want to use that as, I'm just saying the building, I don't care about the name of the company. Would that same exact room at that same exact structure be higher now, or is it just because of the mix, the overall is higher?
I think both.
Okay.
We are seeing an increase because of that increased product that we have, that 4-diamond product that's come in, and it's been fantastic, and it really over-delivered since they've been opened.
I've heard great things
COVID.
about both those places.
Wonderful. And we also have the Radisson Blue, which is another 4-diamond property. But that alone brings the rate up, but it also brings rates up for other hotels as well. So, and it's back to that revenge travel of people they feel like they owe it to themselves.
So all the coattails is what the coattails of those big properties.
It's lifting all boats.
Which isn't that a surprise, because I think I heard you guys say that about 5 or 6 years before they finally got those going. But that's a different subject. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. More with Jay Burress when we come back. 3 tips for first-time home buyers. And Josh, you probably guessed it, we're not going to get to your credit matters. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990, the real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Find out what your property value is, your exact property. 3 different tools that'll tell you what that value is. If you're looking to shop for a new house, 97% of America is on the tool with no advertising. rsrhomescout.com. 3 tips for first-time home buyers. Buying your first home is a major decision and an exciting milestone. Even though it can feel daunting at times, it has the power to change your life for the better. If you're looking to purchase your first home, you may be wondering what's happening in the housing market today, how much you need to save, and where to start. 3 things that can help give you the information you need to confidently pursue your dream of home ownership. Number 1, consider all options when the number of homes for sale is low. Today, there are far more buyers in the market than there are homes available for sale. When that happens, it's a good idea to do what you can to increase your pool of options. That can mean expanding your search to include additional housing types. First-time home buyers considering condos and townhomes can be an excellent way to increase your choices. Condos are both great entryways into home ownership. When you buy either one, you can start building equity, which increases your net worth and can fuel future moves. As I share with you all the time, don't sell the condo. Take the money out of the condo and buy the next property with that money. That way you're getting your retirement plan and your financial net worth in order. Number 2, know your down payment could be more within reach than you think. Get so many people that think that they have to wait to get a down payment. Veterans, we thank you, but your down payment is 0. No money down for veterans. It's the greatest loan in the market, and they've earned it. USDA, 0 down payment. FHA, 3.5% down. There are 352 down payment assistance programs in the state of California. Do you qualify for them? I don't know until I talk to you, right? There's a lot of areas right there, so you don't necessarily need 20% down. Median down payment by age group, and if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed. Median down payment by age group, all buyers, 13% down payment. 23 to 31, you're doing 8% down. 32 to 41, you're doing 10% down. 42 to 56, you're doing 15% down. First time we see anything close to 20% is if you're 57 to 66, and then you're doing 21% down. Chart's right there for you. Based on the above data, the median down for all home buyers, 13%, well below the 20% most people think. Also, down payment assistance programs I mentioned. And again, 3.5%, 0%. Number 3, work with trusted professionals, real estate and lending, both. Work with the trusted advisors. Bottom line, the key to succeeding on your home buying journey, know the market trends. That's why we talk about your household board of directors. Think about it. Every corporation that you can think of has a board of directors. Do you have one for your household? That would be your realtor, your tax person, your estate attorney, your lender, your insurance person. They're all part of your board of directors, and they need to all be working together for the benefit of your family. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Continue our conversation. Jay Burress, Visit Anaheim, is with us. Jay, in this segment, I want to get into some things, some misconceptions. So, I get a lot of people come on, and I get a lot of comments, unfortunately, that come to our social channels, and they talk about the parts of different communities that are perceived as takers, right? They talk about Disneyland taking from the community, and they take the police, and they take the resources, and they take city money, and then they talk about the convention center, and they talk about the Angels getting the parking lot for $1, which we know is a bunch of baloney, in my opinion. Right? But there's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of myths out there. Can you help clear up some of those? Do the people that are coming in from out of town, are they draws on resources? I mean, some of us say, I'm going to stay away from that area because it's crazy. Help set us straight.
Well, first of all, they are contributors, and it's growing more and more, and we have not done a good job of sharing all the great things that especially conventions that come in leave behind in the community. Of course, there's an economic impact through the TOT tax with the hotels that goes directly
What's
into
TOT?
It's transit occupancy tax.
Okay.
And that's for anyone that stays in a hotel room. They pay a 15% on the rate that goes into the general fund of the city. That general fund pays for police and fire and libraries and everything, that all the services the city provides. So there's that component. Now there's something emerging as volunteerism has become a big thing, where people want to come in and volunteer to help a community, maybe help build a home or help build up a community in certain ways. And then conventions that come in, most of them today look at some type of legacy and leave behind, whether it's a NAM convention, the music merchants that will donate instruments to the schools and try to get music education back in the elementary schools. Could be a security company that donates a security system to a school or some other entity. We've even had cash donations in the past. We've had donations of equipment, transportation equipment, and so on. So it really is a lot of things that are done. That's just by the conventions and tourism that we touch. But there's also the entities, the Angels do so much, the Ducks do so much, and Disney does so much to give back to the community that people don't recognize, and we don't wave the flag enough about all those great things.
And that's a big issue that I see a lot. I mean, because you look at a city like Anaheim, and you'd know the statistics better than me, but I know the last thing I saw is we have about 335,000 residents, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I don't know Anaheim, I'm sure you do. Used to be in Vegas, they would say that, they've got 50,000 residents and there's about 3 million people here all the time. So the police force has to be for a 3 million population, but it's being paid for by 50,000. Anaheim has 330 or 335,000 people. And, with all the hotels and events and things going on. I mean, I heard recently, it used to be that like Disney would have 80,000 people in the park at a time. I don't know the numbers. And the convention center, and
they'll never tell you.
Yeah, right. And the convention center has grown so dramatically. So you've got a city of 330,000 that has to support fire and police and water and infrastructure. But from what I'm hearing from you, maybe it's the other way around. Is the tourism is actually helping support through the 330.
I think they are, and we would miss them greatly, because where would that money come from in the general fund if we didn't have that? That would increase people's taxes that live here, and other services could be limited without that. So they definitely support that. Is there a drain? There is a use of, but a lot of times groups will pay for that additional use. But the contributions far outweigh the drain on that, and that's a reputation that the industry gets in certain places, especially ones that are very successful in tourism.
The more
and
successful you
conventions.
are, the more
Right.
you're going to need, right?
But if you look at the numbers, I mean, our largest convention historically was 118,000 people. So you got 118,000 people over a weekend, plus if you say it's 80,000 people at Disney between the parks, that's a lot of people that are
Sure.
in town over the weekend. And so that is, our police all of our public safety do a wonderful job in providing that safety that people want and are looking for, and now more than
And
ever.
expect.
But now more than ever, people want to be safe, their health wise, as well as from public safety and police and fire and so forth. So the community has had to do a lot. The hotel community, the parks, the transportation, from GBAC certification, was for global biorisk. I mean, new things that we never had to think about before,
Sure.
and that's all a part of it now. But safety is a huge concern with people when they're deciding to travel.
So when you have a convention, I think you said 118,000 was your largest. What kind of impact does that have on jobs in the community?
Well, in the entire county, it's 179,000 jobs are supported by this industry.
For the county.
For the
So
county.
so the work that you're doing in Anaheim and for Anaheim is actually impacting a greater geographic area than just the city.
It does. But when you look at just the city, when there's a convention in, you have everything from the transportation people are working to the decorators setting up the convention to the union workers that are there to help with the all the labor that's going on, the hotels, full house. You've got added housekeeping, you've got added wait staff, front desk, everything from engineers to the social media component. So it really does drive a lot of jobs and helps drive the economy. I think it's over, what's the number here, for 2.6 trillion in economic impact nationally. Trillion.
Wow. 2.6 trillion.
And 9.2 billion was spent in our county. So those are big
9
numbers.
billion?
9 billion throughout the
Wow.
region. We've pre-pandemic had over 50 million visitors to our county, over 25 million just Anaheim alone.
You must be
So-
the most popular guy in town.
It's a good place to be in the tourism business.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, these cities must be in heaven. Well, you know something, and I don't know the exact number. I probably could call the city manager of Anaheim and find it. But my bet is that they've really figured out what I studied economics and I went in grade school, Chapman College, before it was a university. And you look at the economic and you look at the models and they try and forecast and what the impact is from different things. I bet they have a better model now of what the economic impact is of visitors after the pandemic, because the city budget, I bet, took a hit in 2020.
They did take a big hit, and it's coming back now. It's actually the conservative projections for going into this year, and it's actually outperforming that, which is a great sign of it coming back. But our entire economy is really built around that model of the tourism taxes, as well as the visitors coming in and leaving dollars behind to support our small businesses, go to our restaurants, take our transportation, go to our retail shops. It's a huge economic impact.
Massive. Yeah. When we come back, we're going to talk. I might even try and put Jay on the spot. I've got a list of a bunch of different conventions coming. What do you think his favorite's going to be? I know he's going to say cheerleaders because he's got to go home tonight, but that's a whole different subject. We're going to talk about some of the events that are coming up when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. I'll tell you what you need to do for your credit, but I'm going to give you the story next week. You can reach me anytime, though. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer, they've got the solution. Jeff Sipes and his team over at Blue Water Credit do a great job for the listeners of Ron Siegel Radio, because I know your credit report's wrong. I've been looking at credit reports for the better part of 3 decades. And so far, I've yet to see the one that's accurate. Not one. And I've seen the highest credit report I've seen, 834 was the FICO score. 850 is perfect. And that 834 had errors on it. So what makes you think yours is right? Now, you may not need to have anything more. I mean, there's no reason to go higher than 830. But if you've got errors on your report and it's affecting you, CreditSanitizer.com. Again, Jeff Sipes and the team do a great job. Let's continue our conversation. Jay Burress, Visit Anaheim, is with us. And I know I'm not going to be able to put him on the spot here and ask him what his favorite conference is. But tell me a little bit about some of them, because I look at them. Natural products. What is natural products? Is that
Natural
dog food,
products,
people food, or whatever?
It is all kinds of products are made from natural fibers, food, so forth. So it's everything from new clothing line to the next CBD lotion product.
Okay.
So it's everything. It's very natural. Growing segment of the market. It's actually normally about 85,000 people. That had about almost 60,000 this year, but a huge show. Very fun, very healthy, conscious people. And a great.
So they don't let
resource
overweight
have.
people in there, I guess. Okay.
They do allow me in there, but it's a great show that we have every year. And they were actually the first show to cancel when the pandemic hit, and the first large one to return. So it's full circle that we've gone on that.
We get the healthcare products, I would assume, there, so you can. They're a little healthier as far as health conscious.
Absolutely.
WonderCon, what is that?
WonderCon, everyone knows about Comic-Con, who goes on in San Diego
Right.
every summer. WonderCon is their other show they have here in Southern California, and it's almost the size of Comic-Con, and it's perfect for our destination because it comes at a great time of year, and it is really, I mean, it had over 82 million in economic impact this year alone. But again, it's the comics, it's the characters, it's the dress, the cosplay, it's all that combined with a convention. These fan conventions a few years ago really took off, and we've really become a hotbed for these type of fan conventions, and WonderCon is one of those.
So maybe you can educate me. Well, I know you can educate me, but I was at Comic-Con by accident. I don't know, 7-8 years ago. I was down in San Diego, and give or take, I don't know exactly. And they put these massive banners up on the buildings, and they cover like these 20, 30-story buildings, and they've got a ban. Do those go up and down? How do they do that?
Yeah, that's big business. Is those banners going up and advertising? It's a lot of money in these fan conventions, and so they will take over an entire city at times to do something like that. But WonderCon was fabulous. Great people. There's actually a Comic-Con museum now in San Diego.
Wow.
We recently visited, and it's great. Love to see him do something like that here. But it's big business. More and more people that you would never have suspected are part of these fan conventions.
So when you do some of that stuff on a building, obviously that's going to be a lot of labor to do that safely and
revenue for the advertising for
Sure.
whoever's building it is.
So bringing in more business. What's the largest convention?
Largest one we have historically is the National Association of Music Merchants, and it's everything involved with the music industry, from the sheet music seller to Santana walking down the aisles. It's a little bit of everything, from the stars and celebrities to the producer of the music stand and the instruments, and Yamaha is a big part, and they're a local company. So it's really a great convention, and they'll be back here in June for the first time in a couple of years.
So that's the big. What's the smallest?
Smallest, we probably have a party of 10 that's over there.
Really? So you can support people that are that small of
Sure.
a group.
Most of those will stay inside a hotel, but there are times, if there's space and it makes sense, we can do all sizes.
So it doesn't matter. I don't have to be a massive organization to be able to reach out to you.
No, your next reunion can be right there.
Yeah, there'll be both of us there. I mean, I went to a school that had 1,800 people in their total, so it's all. Now, I saw something on your notes here, and I traveled a lot when I was young. Bleisure. What the heck is bleisure?
Leisure travel. Now more than ever, people are recognizing that their time is so valuable. They're valuing that face to face, but they also want to make the most out of their trip. So if they're going to Anaheim for a convention, well, let's combine it. Let's stay later. Let's have some fun while we're there. Let's combine it with some fun aspects, some leisure aspects. So it's really a combination of that business and leisure travel. And people are doing both now. And some people are choosing to only go on those trips where they can add some leisure, thus making it leisure travel.
So they've got a big advantage coming to Anaheim because you can either go to a theme park. We got a couple of them around here, and you've got the beaches and you've got the sports.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay for an Angels game, stay for a Ducks game, go down to the beach for the day. There's so many things they can do, and the weather supports it greatly. So people are excited when they know they're coming here.
And they can do one of my favorite things. Go to great restaurants.
Absolutely. We have a lot of great restaurants, and people are just now discovering that, in addition to our entire craft brewery scene, which is just exploding onto the scene.
That's amazing what's gone on with craft brewery. I'm not a beer drinker. I like wine, but you look at them and you say, holy cow, you go to just, I enjoy Brewery X just because of the atmosphere.
Great guys.
And they've got a ton of options there. If you're into the beer scene, is that something that people will come to a city for because of?
People are traveling for that. It's a big driver now, and more people want to go to a community just for the purpose of tasting their local fare, their local breweries, their local. It's to even come to a convention. People ask for, hey, we have this Brew City Trail or whatever you want to call it, and how can I get there? How can I go and taste these things?
So that's a good question, Jay. How do people do that? I mean, when I used to travel, a lot of places that I would go to, we would just stay within a very, very short distance of the venue and some places we could go a little further because of public transportation. Is that coming back, the Uber, and is there other options here?
Sure, there is. And within the resort district, we have the Anaheim Resort Transit, which is the shuttle and everything from the small Fran vehicles, which are free ride around the neighborhood, to the larger motor coaches. In fact, it's the largest fully electric fleet in the entire country. So it's great. So it's good for the environment. It's an easy way to get around. They can take you to the different breweries, to the different hotels, to the different theme parks, attractions. So there are ways to get around. Uber, of course, and Lyft have great services, but people will do that, and they'll just hop from brewery to brewery and try these different things. And it's a great community.
So on your website, do you have these different things there as well as the transportation?
We do. We have all that right on there at visitanaheim.org. Everything from the conventions coming up to where you can eat, where you can stay, what special events are coming up. It's a great resource that everybody should use.
Okay, Josh, we're going to have to put visitanaheim.org. Put that right on there so that we have that one. I might have to go there and see if there's some restaurants. I mean, I've only lived in Anaheim 59 years, but I might have to see if I can find some new restaurants around. I just had a friend of mine just went to a restaurant that I grew up in, Mama Koza's.
Oh, what a great place.
God, it's been there. I think it's been there longer than I've been in Anaheim. And like I said, I've been here a day or two. But there's a lot of good eating.
A lot of great eating, and people want to do that. That's like that and shopping are people's number one activity when they go on a trip. You got to eat and may as well experience.
I got one out of
food.
two. If I didn't go shopping, I'd be in. My shopping is all electronic, so it's. But there's a lot going on. So, what's Designer Con?
Designer Con. That is a new one for me. Actually, you did stump me.
Wow. Okay. I'm just looking at the list here. VidCon. That's video games. Okay, so we got Josh, maybe I'm not going to even let you answer because Josh is telling me we're out of time. But I like VidCon. Josh, do we get to go to VidCon? Because we have about 9 million viewers on YouTube, don't we? So
you need to. It's a great show.
Okay, so maybe next time we're going to find it. Designer's probably going to be something that I wear, and I'm not a fashion guy, but we'll hit Jay up on that one next time. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio. As always, we ask you, set that first radio preset button to come back and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only talk about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great time. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Push me over the limit. I'd like to call him something